Yep, nous revoilà in English, as I said. So we're very, very happy to welcome Shainoor today. Roshan, as she's going to explain us, is a telecom provider founded by the Aga Khan Fund for Economic Development that has combined profit with purpose to become Afghanistan's leading mobile operator. The company's focus on social impact has led it, as I said, not only to become Afghanistan's first B Corp certified company, but one of the highest scoring B Corps anywhere in the world, with a score of 159 points on 20, which is outscoring Patagonia, which gives you all my respect and admiration, Shainoor. So as a managing director of Roshan Community, which is the company's social impact arm for more than a decade, Shainoor Khoja was instrumental in driving this progress. And we are very, very, very fortunate to have you join us today for the Innovate program. So thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. You know, not in our wildest dreams did anybody of the founding team of Roshan think that following purpose would take us to the war-torn country of Afghanistan. We have learned that anyone and everyone can make a difference. And so I love this quote that says, sometimes it is the people who nobody imagines anything of who do the things that nobody can imagine. And just look at these pictures. The employees that you see in the bottom left, they were all recruited from refugee camps in Afghanistan. The girls that you see in the middle are able to go to school today because of some of the schools that we have bought. And the women at work have been able to come into the formal economy because of some of the things that we have done. So who are we? We are Roshan. We are part of the for-profit arm of the Aga Khan Development Network. And what we do is we follow our not-for-profit arm, which goes into countries and stabilizes communities. We go in soon after to invest in infrastructure and business to create jobs and tax revenue so that the people that we are serving become part of the solution and our programs and projects and businesses become sustainable long-term. When we arrived in Afghanistan, it was at war. It was unstable. 16.5 million women and girls at the base of the pyramid. 50% of the population under the age of 20. Corruption, it ranked second in the world. And it had international foreign troops keeping peace. Today, we're the #1 operator, the largest taxpayer, the largest employer. We represent 6% of the GDP of Afghanistan. And of our 1,000 employees, 20% are women. And we have attracted more than $1.2 billion of foreign direct investment to help in the progress and growth of Afghanistan. So how did we do this? And it comes down to values. What do I mean by that? Quality and accessibility. We always treated the Afghans with dignity and respect. We could have easily, in this risky environment, come with secondhand equipment, but we didn't. We came with the best equipment, with the future in mind. Although 70% of the population was illiterate, we still brought functionality like texting, etc., because we knew what the future could hold. We brought innovative products. We didn't bring cheap phones. We brought the iPhones and the Android phones that were state of the art that the people wanted to use. We built on the entrepreneurial spirit of the Afghan people. They were at heart business people. So we provided training and microfinance loans so that they could set up businesses as dealers. And as they grew, jobs grew, prosperity grew, and we grew and prospered together. We engaged the community from the get-go. Our name, Roshan, was the name that they voted for. We wanted to call ourselves Bale Bale, which means hello, hello. But the communities, Afghan, Uzbek, Tajik, Hazara, Pushtun, all of them voted for the name Roshan, meaning light and hope. We always invested right from the beginning, one, because we had to, in training and development of our staff. And corporate social responsibility or reinvesting back in the country was a core value right from the get-go. So what did we do? Well, we realized very quickly that we were bringing a phone, a voice to Afghanistan, but it was much more than a phone. It was healthcare. We built telemedicine. It was market prices for farmers, so we brought information services. It was a learning instrument, so we brought education and digitized the Afghan curriculum. Music was at the heart of these people, and they had been banned from access to music, so we brought music. We brought social networking that gave them a voice across the world and connectivity. We enabled purchasing of airtime in small denominations, so people that couldn't afford a large amount of airtime money could buy it in small increments. And we made the phone the bank, financial inclusion. Why was this so important? Because at that time, 90% of the population was unbanked, and to bank them was just too expensive in the normal bricks and mortar way. So what does quality, affordability, accessibility really mean? It means making sure that you take quality services all the way down to the rural parts of Afghanistan and service the last mile. It means billing at per second billing, even when it impacts your bottom line by $30 million, which is what it did the first year we switched. It means providing women-centric products in women-centric centers that they can access. It means talking to the people and looking at where the needs are and then seeing where technology can be applied to make the difference for people. Who did we do it for? Well, we did it for teachers and students. We built e-learning centers, we built schools, computer labs, a teacher consultation line, because we knew that for our business to prosper in the longer run and for the country to prosper, we needed an educated next generation and an inclusive economy. We did it for farmers and traders. Agriculture is one of the largest areas of work in Afghanistan, and women form much of this industry. But because they were illiterate and they didn't know the price of their crop at the market, they were always undersold by the middlemen. But now having a voice-activated pricing mechanism, they could actually secure the best price for their crop. We knew that good health goes hand in hand with good education. When we built telemedicine, we provided access to specialists globally. We provided access for training for medical doctors, healthcare professionals, nurses. We are proud to say that you see the picture here of a pioneering operation where we separated co-joined twins in Afghanistan through a telemedicine link. We have had in excess of 4,000 healthcare workers trained and over 30,000 patients treated through the telemedicine link. And so when I talk about things like unbanked, let's put that into context and perspective. It's not just a product. It means safety. People weren't walking around with bags of cash anymore. To disperse salaries, people didn't have to drive thousands and millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars across the country. It meant that you got rid of corruption, you got rid of skimming, you increased transparency, you began to be able to increase productivity because you didn't have to line up for hours to pay a bill or to walk miles to go and pay a microfinance loan. So transformational change through the products that we were bringing in. And this was intentional, not by accident. You may be thinking, how does this happen? How do you do it? Well, I think leadership matters. You need to be able to get buy-in from the very top. And when you're a worker, as I was, an employee and my team, you need to make sure that you have the permission to try, the permission to take a risk, the permission to fail, because you can't do this kind of work knowing it all. Of course, you take good risks, evaluate them, but you need that permission. But you also need engagement. Here you see our CEO, CMO, and CTO actually feeding the children at the soup kitchens that we run. And then we provide these street working children with education in the afternoon. Once they feel this, they will participate in it and be forever your champions. We also approached our customer and our business with a holistic view, not just we will do just technology. We looked at how technology could change the environment. So here's an example of some of the things we did. We built a T line, an electricity line from Tajik Badakhshan to Afghan Badakhshan to bring electricity to darkened parts of Afghan Badakhshan. We built schools into which we put the computer labs and teachers got paid through M-Pesa. We built playgrounds so that we could bring together the community that had been separated by conflict around an area of play and community. We broadcasted children's educational TV and changed the use of energy using solar as opposed to diesel. We also realized the importance of our employee base, and we invested in our employees, providing a clinic for medical and dental, a laboratory, health promotion, professional development. We had all kinds of programs where if they did well and their kids did well, they could qualify for scholarships, etc. So we built real, tangible connection. And we brought the employees along with us. But we all have our dark days, and we've had many. But the 31st of May, 2017 has to be our darkest day. At 8:35 a.m., a bomb on a fuel tanker heading for another destination unexpectedly blew up earlier, about 400 meters from our headquarters. And here you see the destruction, everything destroyed, all our awards, all our offices, and all our records. That day, we lost 32 people, people that were committed to our mission, that had our collective vision at their heart. And I just stop a second to acknowledge them. But even in this darkest hour, we learned that in investing in the country that we had, people came to our rescue. Suppliers, other employees, the community members, the community leaders, even our competitors. And we were up and running in 5 hours. And as injured employees started returning to the office, even the leadership that was stunned, whose heart had stopped for a minute, were reminded of this collective vision and purpose that we have. And so off we went again. So what is next? Our purpose endures. We want to unlock new technologies and go beyond mobile and data into TV and a whole variety of things. We want to keep transforming the business environment and bring in best practices. We want to give voice to the marginalized people, give them access. We want to keep building capacity. And again, we want to keep pushing this idea of business for planet, for purpose, and for profit, which is something that is at the core of what we do. I would love to end on this advertisement that won us an international award at the GSM Mobile World Conference, where the judges said Roshan has managed to navigate through religious, ethnic, and cultural issues to establish a brand and to grow the Afghan communications market. Roshan has become the Afghan brand embracing hope and opportunity that that Afghanistan now represents. I'd love to share this video with you, and I hope that you can see the values as you watch it. This was the first advertisement in Afghanistan featuring a girl child and a woman. So I hope that I've inspired you to dare to dream beyond yourself. Roshan, Nazdik Shidan, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Shainoor, for this very inspiring story that leaves us, I think, all of us with a sense of immense possibility. I'd like to ask you maybe a first question. Emmanuel Faber has explained how one can champion innovation when you're a CEO of a company. But based on your example and your experience, do you think that's possible when you're not the CEO of a company, but one employee among others?
Well, I think I'm living proof that it is possible, but it isn't easy. I think that it is really important to couch your vision in such a way that the leadership can get behind you, because without the leadership's backing, it is very difficult. I think that the second really important thing is employee engagement. And of course, you want to have the entire company engaged, but what you want to do is find the key champions in the key areas that you can get behind you. And then you want to really muster up the excitement and then get people engaged once you've got that in place. It is something that is doable, but you have to be willing to take the risk and you have to be willing to fail. And for that, sometimes you really need the good support of a supervisor that you're reporting to.
Thank you, Shainoor. I have a question of Lucy, and she thanks you, as she said that it's very inspiring. And she said, I assume you met a lot of ideological obstacles, such as education, TV, music. How did you overcome it? It is a continuous fight.
It is, Lucy, you hit the nail on the head. Of course it is, and it has been for us all the time because we've been pushing the envelope. I think that, you know, probably I can best describe it in telling you a story. When we built the playgrounds, everything I did with the team, I had contractually binding agreements. So the mayor had to sign that we put in the playground, he would keep it clean and maintained, and there would never be a wall around it so that anybody in the community could access it. So what we hadn't anticipated was that although we had a board to say that, you know, we had a Dumbo that was on a spring, that only up to 14 years old children could be on it, we hadn't realized that for 30 years, men and women had not had access to play. And so we got this picture of grown men on this little Dumbo and the spring broke. And so the mayor said, oh, you have to fix it. And I said, no, it's your responsibility. So if you've broken it, it's a danger and we'll remove it. So he said, how much is it? I said, $216. And literally they pushed me and I sent guys over to lift it out and they came up with $216. So these are risky things to do. I don't advise it all the time, but I think sometimes you really have to make the point, and having the agreement, having the pricing, and then sort of sticking to it and not budging on it was a good strategy that we used.
Maybe I have one question that there are many questions, in fact, and we don't have time, but I'm just going to try to mix two of them. There was a question about, do you have competitors and how do you see them? And I remember the first time we met, you explained that In fact, when you started in Afghanistan, the government told you, okay, you want exclusivity on the market for years. And you said, no, because we want to attract competitors. And I'd like you to explain that openness as a part of corporate culture. Also, when you open the stores, you said, no, we don't want to own the stores ourselves. We want to empower people in the community to open stores. So always trying to reach out and to take the impact as the first criteria for decision making.
Yeah. So let me explain that. When we came into Afghanistan and we bid for our license, we paid $5 million for it. And the government said, do you want 25 years of exclusivity? And we said, no, we want 3 years. And they were confused. They didn't understand why. But here's why. 3 years later, Etisalat and MTN each paid $40 million for the same license. What did it mean for us? Yes, we were bringing in competition, but we were not scared to raise the ante and to compete with people that came in. And what that meant was it expanded the market and provided more access. So that was our driver. To the idea of bringing in entrepreneurs, Afghan entrepreneurs, and not opening hundreds of stores, there's a clear impact reason for doing that, which is engaging the community and growing with them. But look at the other side of it, the business side of it, is that we didn't have to invest in all those stores, which would have been very capital intensive and would have slowed us down. So I think this is the really exciting thing about working as what I call an intrapreneur, when you're within the organization and you can look at both sides and claim trade-offs. You know, we created all these jobs, we created 40,000 jobs. And of the jobs that we had, cleaners, drivers, etc., we actually spun them out as cooperatives with us as the anchor contract. That reduced our HR bill, but it also created more businesses, which was terrific. And they use our services because we're good, not because we make them. And I think I'm very fortunate that I've worked for an organization that is clearly forward-thinking in this way. I do feel very strongly now that even with the present crisis that we're going through, purpose is not an add-on. It's integral to anything a business does. And it would be a very big mistake for businesses to think they can, you know, turn a blind eye to that.
Thank you very much, Shainoor.
Thank you very much, Shainoor.
So,
actually, a lot of frustration because we have many questions. And would you be kind enough, Shainoor, to maybe answer this question in a video if we manage to find some times in the week? And then we will drop the video because, of course, it was so inspiring and there are many questions.
Absolutely. And anybody that wants my contact details is welcome to have them. I'm happy to help support their thinking. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Merci à vous tous pour toutes les questions. Donc, on a proposé à Shainoor de les lui suggérer au cours d'une vidéo. Et elle vous répondra donc par la vidéo quand vous enverra, parce qu'effectivement, sa présentation a pris un peu plus de temps par rapport aux questions. Donc, voilà, on va faire comme ça. Merci.
Voilà.
Thank you very much.
Bye
That's
bye.
great. Thank you.
Et c'est amusant parce qu'en fait, même quand on passe en digital, on a le même sujet que quand on était en live. C'est-à-dire, c'est tellement riche qu'on en passerait bien 2 heures avec chacun. Et juste, ça n'est pas prévu. Voilà. Alors, on va continuer par un échange avec Maria Garrido sur un sujet qui me passionne, qui est la raison d'être, comment la raison d'être peut aussi être une raison d'agir. On revient au français et je crois qu'on a à nouveau nos 10 secondes pour nous connecter avec Maria.